How to Cook with Flowers, 3 Recipes with Edible Blossoms. The chapter opens her sprong. Philadelphia's culinary scene is as vibrant as its street art, and 3 local chefs are turning that vibrant energy into edible flower dishes. Among them is Rhonda Saltzman, owner of the beloved bakery Second Daughter, who has added a fresh twist to a classic challah donut by whisking a medley of edible blossoms into the dough. The paper notes that Saltzman's donut isn't simply a decoration, each flower adds a subtle, natural flavor and a burst of color that turns a bakery staple into a showpiece for the table. Saltzman's technique showcases how edible flowers can be integrated into everyday baking without overpowering the flavor profile. The other 2 chefs, whose names are highlighted by the newspaper, push the boundaries of using edible blooms in savory contexts. They each provide a distinct recipe that calls flowers not as an afterthought but as an essential ingredient. One dish uses jasmine blossoms in a velvety sauce that accompanies a roasted chicken, while another layers violet petals inside a layered cake for an airy, fragrant finish. These recipes demonstrate the versatility of flowers. They can add perfume, subtle sweetness, crunch, or a splash of color to a dish, reshaping ordinary meals into artistic creations. The article stresses that the chefs source their blooms from local growers, ensuring that the flowers are fresh and safe for consumption. The feature also offers practical guidance for listeners who want to experiment in their own kitchens. First, it reminds us that not all petals are edible physically, and that we should only use culinary-grade flowers that are free from pesticides. Second, it points out that flowers should be washed carefully and often omitted the stem portion, which can be tough or inedible. Third, it notes that a single teaspoon of flower petals can taste like a whole cup of water, so the chefs suggest sprinkling the blossoms at the end of the cooking process to preserve their flavors. The chefs request that viewers try their recipes at home and consider the seasonality of blooms. A springtime menu might feature crocus or lavender, while autumn could incorporate marigold or chrysanthemum. The piece underscores that edible flowers can be a sustainable way to use seasonal plant parts that would otherwise go to waste. Finally, the paper wraps up by celebrating the creativity and environmental awareness that Philadelphia's culinary community brings to the table. Even on a seemingly simple snack, a donut, chefs find ways to paint with plant pigments and flavor notes for guests. Those who live in the city should stop by Second Daughter or one of the other restaurants featured in the article to see how edible flowers can elevate everyday food. Thanks for listening. If these recipes spark your culinary curiosity, be sure to bring some fresh blooms next time you shop. Until next time, keep the kitchen lively and the flowers flowing. Good night.